you have more value than you realize. And we're going to talk with you about 3 side gigs that are making seniors rich. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to prove it. Yes, I'm going to prove it. You don't need to buy a business to start earning again, and you don't need to manage employees. No, no, no. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need a purpose. In today's episode, we're diving into 3 real side gigs powered by people like you that are making thousands a month in retirement. And hey, if you think this isn't for you, stick around because by the end, you'll see why you, and I mean you, are the best business you've ever heard. Today, 67% of Americans over 50 say they feel like their life has no clear purpose. And, that survey is about people at 50. Well, I can tell you a whole bunch of friends and family that are 30 degrees and or 30 years old and feel like they have no purpose. We wake up, do the chores, we scroll a little, and then yes, that's what it sounds like. Nothing. I was made for impact, not. We were all made to contribute. That's not motivational fluff. That's a biological truth. Your brain thrives on purpose. And, we always hear the old saying, well, a 25-year-old knows way more than a 50-year-old. Well, I'm telling you, in this world today, a 25-year-old doesn't have the common sense that a 50-year-old has. And a 50-year-old has a lot of stories to tell, and a 25-year-old just started to define his story. So today, we're going to start with one of my favorite people, Bill. Bill is the self-proclaimed strawberry king of Flint, Michigan. But we're going to back up a step. First, I want to talk to you, not really talk to you, but I want to tell you about a new software program that we have been developing, and it's specifically for retirees. So we put a Facebook post out, just like everybody else does, and we said, hey, are you interested in side gigs? If we could use your ideas and if you'd like to, be a tester for a software. Long story short. So we got about 50 responses, and out of the 50 responses, 38 were women. And the funny thing is that the women were responding for their husbands. No, they weren't responding for themselves. They were responding for their husbands because apparently in retirement, women seem to have it down. Women, they have women's clubs. They have women things that they've been doing for 50 years. And to be honest with you, they don't need a plan like we do. Our brains are spinning all the time. And that's not just men, that's women as well, but they seem to have a better plan than we do. Long story short. So let's talk about Bill. Bill was one of my first cases, probably one of the most difficult at first to, not only to talk to, because he's like, yeah, Betty put you up to this. Yeah. Well, after that, Bill became like a cheerleader for the program. Bill, he's a retired GM factory worker. And a lot of you know that in Flint, Michigan, all the engines are made for General Motors. Not all of them, but a majority of the engines have been made off Bonnie in Flint, Michigan for a long, long time. And Bill's specialty was strawberries. And yeah, I had to think about that too. Strawberries. He started telling what we did is we aligned him with Hey Sage, and we, alongside Hey Sage and Bill, started to build Bill's World. Well, a little bit about Bill is that Bill lives in a place where, it's cold, probably, I think, 8 months of the year. Flint, Michigan's a difficult place, to live. So what we got Bill to do was to start telling stories from his life about strawberries and life lessons, all to be put on YouTube. We started with Bill talking about the factory floor, his garden, and life in Flint, Michigan. And guess what? Bill, now known as the Strawberry King of Flint, Michigan, pulls in about $2,000 a month, sharing what he knows best. And what he knows best is talking. Bill can talk to you all day long. And here's the tip. I want you to start with you. What do you talk about with your friends? What's a lesson you learned the hard way? And just share it. Keep it real. Tell the truth. Tell it like it happened. And if you have a story idea or story to share, or you'd like to join the new Hey Sage program, drop it in the comments. Let me know. All right, moving along. I'm going to talk about a professional for a minute. Now, just a normal guy who turned his imaginary world into just an amazing business. And that person is Adam Enfroy. And when it comes to blogging, and a lot of you think, well, what is blogging? Well, yes, we still write books, and we still read books. I'm an avid listener of Audible all the time on Amazon. But if you want to write it shorter, we used to know them as pamphlets. Well, today we call them PDFs, and those PDFs are sold in a lot of cases to people to provide shortcuts to to something. And Adam, decided, well, I'm going to create a blog. So a blog is sort of an ongoing newsletter. I think that's the best way to understand it. It's like a newsletter. You just write about what you love, whether it be travel, tools, cooking, history. Just pick one. Then sit down and write about one. And guess what? We're going to call that a blog post. And do it once a week. And here's the caveat. Adam launched in 2019, and we all know about 2019 was absolutely an amazing year for us in the art business. And quickly, Adam's business became the fastest growing blogs of all times. And in 2019, that blog made him $1 million his first year. And then it continued to make in better than $1 million for the next 3 years. And it even got the attention of Forbes. Forbes took notice and said, this is no get-rich-quick promise, just proven strategies. No generic advice. Everything is just based on real-world experiences. I love blogging because I get to share my writing, my ideas, and the world, but also because it's one of the best ways to make money online in 2025. Get your blog online. Get your story online. Do a little niche and keyword strategy. Find out what people are talking about. Design it and launch it. Next thing you know, you're going to be asking about making money. Well, we're going to move on to how do you make money with a blog, and it's called affiliate income. Now, there are two real great ways to make money with a blog. One is to talk about a certain subject like Bill and growing strawberries and selling a document that says, a document that helps somebody get into strawberries quickly. Without all the bumps and trials and tribulations of dead fruit, he's going to take you right on to a red ripe strawberry. All right, next story. This is probably one of the funniest stories so far that I've had. And I want you to meet Ellen. Ellen is a 66-year-old who turned her love for gardening into the first month. Now, that was February, as I recall, when we started Hey Sage. Her first month, she made $1,200 right off the bat. She looked at us like we were miracle workers. And it wasn't that we were miracle workers. We just understand, Hey Sage understands the framework of simplicity in making money. So she started filming her garden tips for her neighbors. The funny thing was, she was filming bugs. And those were the sample videos she sent me. So, we asked people if they had any kind of submission, something about, what they love to do, what they write about. And she sent me these videos. So not only did she send me videos about bugs, she sent them to me in time lapse. Now, for those of you who don't know what time lapse is, the camera just takes a picture every minute over a long period of time, sort of like slow motion. So I would watch the bugs crawl onto the leaves, eat the leaves, move on. It was torture, funny as hell torture. So to tell you how this all came about, she went to her husband's tree stand out in the back field behind their house where he hunts deer in his own darn backyard nearly, and borrowed his camera. And boy, Steve was less than amused, but it turned out to be funny as hell. What do I tell her to do? So Sage and I went to work. And the secret was the way she got the bugs to leave her plant beds alone. And the secret came from the neighbor's dog. I will leave that secret, to another PG day. But the secret was the dog that she hated, by the way, that barked all damn night. All right, so Hey Sage Life helped her write simple PDFs that speak to bugs and the garden and how to organically get rid of them. No chemicals that are going to affect whatever it is you're growing. And now today she teaches online workshops and sells her seeds, her kits, and her PDFs. I'm like, she's just become magic. So we're now in the 1st of April, and she sent me March's numbers. And she said that, she really only worked about 20 hours for the entire month, but she grossed $2,200. And I have to say, brought tears to my eyes. I was impressed. And she was most impressed by how a computer could help her get where she wanted to be. And she had found her purpose, the thing that she loved talking about. So tell me, think of something you love. Organizing, woodworking, music, something that brings light to your life. And in another episode, we're going to talk about woodworking. I got bill number 2. So, here we go. We're just going to go over one more second of the rich formula. We'll start back, and I'm just going to run through this real quick. Reconnect with purpose. Ask yourself, what lights me up? What can I talk about all days? Identify your skills. What do your friends ask you for advice on? And that, there's your skill. Create and contribute. Start by sharing a comment, writing a PDF. Just sit down and put your phone on the table and record a tip, just a short video. And the other H, help others while helping yourself. Your story to inspire and guide someone else. That's the key, what you have to say. If you're still with me at this point, comment, I am the Goldmine, and we'll get you connected with the Hey Sage group. You didn't retire to fade out. You retired to stand out. This is you're wondering if it's too late. Well, if you're wondering that, it's not. It's your time. You are the business. Your life is the story. Your passion is the product. Coming up next, 3 real businesses, how you can take one idea and turn it into income in 30 days. No BS. Hey, from the bottom of my heart, thanks for watching. Brett on the Go for Retirement Today.